A really handy skill to have when you are mounted is to be able to adjust your own stirrup without having to get off or having help. And it's really helpful if you have a horse that'll stand patiently for you. And it's a safety issue, really, if your horse can't stand patiently for you while you're moving around. So a couple prerequisites is the horse should be calm enough to stand still, and the horse should have some idea of your seat. And the more that the horse learns about your seat is in motion, they're following that. When your seat is moving around or stationary, the horse should not be going. So if you start moving around in your seat like this, the horse should not interpret that as getting ready to go forward because that movement is not one that signifies going forward. So that's something that the more you practice teaching the horse to follow your seat and riding with your seat, the more horses stand patiently for you while you do things like open a gate or fix your stirrup. But what I like to do is I'm going to adjust my right stirrup in this case. So I take the reins in my left hand and I put them together so they're equal in length, and I just have them ready in case I need them. So they're not tight right now, but if I need to, it would only take me a slight picking up to make sure that there's some indication to the horse that they should not go forward. Now, when I am thinking of doing a task outside of the horse, I need to have my awareness on the horse still. So I want to be sure that I feel him getting ready to move before he does. And that's something that I see with people all the time, is they don't notice the horse is getting ready to move until after the case, and then they get off balance and they get in a position where they can be at risk safety-wise. So it's very important that I'm feeling his body and feeling where he is without having to look. So the first thing I'm going to do is drop my stirrup, and then I'm going to put my leg in front of the saddle. That's the easiest way to do it. So I like to make sure when I'm doing this that I have weight on both my seat bones still, because a lot of people will do this, and should the horse start to walk off, you're actually going to be more at risk for falling off. So it's a really good skill to be able to lift yourself by the knee, and you can actually take your jean or your breeches or whatever you're riding in and push down on the saddle or the neck so that you keep your butt down while lifting your knee. And that's a really handy skill. So get your knee up with your butt cheeks staying down and lift it high enough that you can get off of where this stirrup releases. And then grab your stirrup and pull it down. And what I'm going to do is, with one hand on the reins, it's really important to make sure that you have yourself ready in a position so that if the horse were to move off, you can do something about it and stay balanced if you have to ride a few strides before you stop the horse. So with one hand, I'm going to move the buckle up, put it in its new spot. I'm going to pull the bottom of the stirrup down. I might have to lift my thigh up a little to get that done. And I'm going to pull until I hear it click. This is where you want to be really careful that you aren't accidentally kicking the horse in the flank or whatever, so that you don't startle them. Keep your weight in both butt cheeks. And I make a point that with my horses, I don't ask them to go forward. I don't allow them to go forward until I've asked, so I can take a few seconds to breathe or whatever I need to do before going on. So that's a really handy skill. You can check your girth. You can adjust your stirrup. You can do all kinds of stuff. When I was a little girl, when I was learning to ride, I learned to ride at a military riding school, and one of the tasks that we had to learn before we could jump was to be able to dismantle the saddle while cantering on a lunge line. And it sounds super crazy, but it's actually not that far off from adjusting your stirrup. You keep weight in both butt cheeks while you adjust your saddle, and you can remove the saddle, you can remove the girth, you can remove the stirrup while moving. It's actually not that far off from being able to adjust your stirrup. If you keep your weight level and keep your awareness handy, you can change a lot of your gear on horseback yourself.